to another episode of Build with a Plan. Coach David here, and today I want to talk about accelerating your growth by, as you guess it, build with a plan. Now, the reason why I want to talk about build with a plan today, because, very recently it came to my attention that, one of the businesses I was working on, as my own business, I was not working on the business enough, and there was too much planning, too much talking, and not enough action. And the main reason why I do this podcast in the first place is because I've built businesses in the past. I ended up not doing it quite the right way, and I never got the return on that business that I should have. I put, decades of effort, blood, sweat, and tears into that business, ending up selling it for far less than it was worth because I had burned out. And that was the main reason why I decided to do this podcast. And I name it Build with a Plan because that is really the only way you could build a successful business. And here, let me tell you why. So ideas are great. Most people have them. Some people have a lot of ideas, and some people have great ideas. But until you put them into action, they may as well just be a dream. Dreams are things that you think about. What happens if I do this? The lottery commercials. Can you imagine what you would do if you won the lottery? Well, that's just a dream. It's just thinking about what it is that you would do if you had won the lottery. And the same applies here to business growth. Ideas are great, and if you keep it in the idea stage, then it becomes a dream, right? It's something that, can you imagine if I did this and I did that, I was able to increase my revenue, increase my profits, then I'd be able to do this, I'd be able to do that, and that keeps it in the dream stage, right? So, like I said, anyone can have an idea, but only successful people put that idea into a plan, that plan into an action. Now, what does that look like? Very simply put is this. Where are you right now? Where's your business? What is your sales? How many clients do you have? Do you have the right clients? Where are you now? What type of clients do you have? What are your sales? What's your team look like? What is your offering? That is where you are now. And then you want to know where you want to go. And as I said before, most people out there have that idea of where they want to be, what they want to get from their business. But you need to be a little bit more concrete. What exactly do I want from the business? Do I want financial freedom? Yep, most likely. Most business owners, that is mainly why they're in business. And when you've got financial freedom, then you're going to want some time freedom. So what does that look like for you? Does that look like 6 weeks of vacation a year? Does that look like working 2 days a week? What does that look like, and what income do you need to make to ensure that you have that financial freedom that you want? And then once you've got that, you need to reverse engineer how long it's going to take for you to, or when do you want that to happen? Is it 5 years from now? Is it 3 years from now? Obviously, it depends on where you are now and where you want to go. Then you reverse engineer it. And yes, it sounds so simple when you put it like that, yet so few people actually do it. And that's the key here. Talking about it, thinking about it, brainstorming, having meetings about it, having staff meetings about it, coming up with lots of ideas, and then, putting a pin in it till the next time you have that meeting about, where are we going with this? As I mentioned earlier, I was reminded very recently, I'm working on one of my businesses right now, and I realized that there was too much talking going on. Lots of actions. We could do this, we could do that. This is what it will look like if we do this. But there was no action, or not enough action, put in place to make sure that plan moved forward. And action can really only happen when you have a plan in place. And that plan has to have actions with deadlines. Timely deadlines. What are you going to do by when? And this goes back to the reverse engineering. Like, if this is the plan that you want to achieve, if this is the goal that you want to achieve, then what steps do you need to take to make sure that you actually hit that end goal? Now, this business I'm working on right now, like, it's a newer acquisition. I've bought into a business. So there's been some long time processes in place. There's lots of ideas about how we can grow the business, that type of stuff. But again, there's just been too much talking and not enough action in place. So because of that, because I was reminded that this is what I need to do. So now, moving forward for the next little while, there's going to be a lot of planning putting into place, which is going to include deadlines so we can start moving this business forward faster. If you have ideas and you don't put a plan in place, that doesn't mean that your business doesn't move forward. Most businesses, they just move forward because they do. Meaning, you've got customers in place and customers tell other customers. So there's some word of mouth referral going. Again, as long as you're doing a good job, even if you do have some advertising or if you do some Facebook, social media, whatever it is, the business will grow more or less organically on its own, but in small steps, in unpredictable steps. Year over year, most businesses, again, as long as they've got good quality product and service, then they will typically grow. But if you really want that time freedom and that financial freedom that most business owners want, then you need to make sure that you have that plan in place. Think about, again, where are you now? Where do you want to go? What income, what revenue, what sales, what vehicle are you driving, where are you living, all of that. So and the reason why we do that is because that's the motivating factor. That's what's going to help keep you on track as you continue to go on with the business, right? What do you want, right? And again, it's got to be just, I want to be successful. I want to hit $1 million. Those are kind of arbitrary. $1 million, is that really where you need to be? Or do you need to be at 800,000 with a 45% net profit margin? Right? That's what we want to look at. Where do you need to be and what can you do to get there? And that's where that reverse engineering comes into play. This is super important, but it's something that is often, almost always forgotten, especially with the small to medium-sized businesses. So I'm talking to you out there. If you're a small or medium-sized business and you actually want to be successful and attain those goals, then here is my challenge for you. Figure out where you are, figure out where you want to go, reverse engineer it, get the plan in place, and start putting action to it with deadlines. Now, I hope this helps. I hope this motivates. Even as a business coach, I continue to, am susceptible to making similar mistakes as most of you business owners out there. So if you like what you hear, please share with other business owners. Let them know about this podcast. If you have any questions, please select below. Give me some comments. I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, Coach David out.